Did you know that the average cost of garlic at the store is around $2 per bulb? What if you could grow your own for less than $5 and have a continuous supply all year? In this video, I'll show you how to grow garlic in containers for under $5, no garden required. It's the ultimate, budget-friendly way to enjoy fresh, homegrown garlic. Hey there, garden enthusiasts. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you how to grow your very own garlic in containers for less than $5. Yep, you heard that right, fresh, homegrown garlic on a budget. Let's dive in. Materials needed. First things first, let's gather our materials. Here's what you'll need. A container with drainage holes. This can be anything from an old bucket, a planter, or even a large plastic tub. If you're repurposing something, check your garage or storage for unused items. It's a great way to save money and reduce waste. Cost? Free if you've got one lying around. Potting soil. You don't need anything fancy. A small bag from your local garden store will do. You can often find budget-friendly options for $2 to $3. For an even cheaper alternative, mix some compost into your soil if you have access to it. Garlic bulbs. Head to your grocery store and pick up some organic garlic. Why organic? It's more likely to sprout compared to treated non-organic bulbs. A single bulb usually costs around $1 and can provide multiple cloves for planting. Water. And yes, this one is practically free. That's it. Simple, affordable, and effective. Now let's get to planting. Start by breaking apart your garlic bulb into individual cloves. Be gentle so you don't damage them. Make sure to keep the papery skin intact because that protects the clove as it grows. Choose these cloves to plant. These will give you the best chance of growing big, healthy bulbs. Smaller cloves can be used in your next recipe. Here's an extra tip. Avoid planting cloves that have any visible damage, discoloration, or signs of mold. Healthy cloves lead to healthy plants. Also, look out for cloves that already show small green sprouts. These are eager to grow and will establish quickly. If your garlic cloves feel a bit dry, you can soak them in lukewarm water for an hour before planting. This can help jumpstart the sprouting process. But don't leave them in water for too long or they might rot. Preparing garlic for planting is a straightforward process, and it begins in the fall or early winter, depending on your climate zone. Here's how you can prepare garlic for planting. Choose the right garlic variety. There are two main types of garlic: hardneck and softneck. Hardneck garlic is generally more cold-hardy and produces a flower stalk, scape. Softneck garlic is milder and stores better. Pick the variety suited to your climate and storage preferences. Break apart the bulbs. Carefully separate the garlic bulb into individual cloves, leaving the skins on each clove. Select the largest, healthiest cloves for planting, as they will produce the strongest plants. Discard any small or damaged cloves. Prepare the soil. Garlic prefers well-drained, loose, fertile soil with plenty of organic matter. Amend the soil with compost or well-rotted manure before planting to ensure it's rich in nutrients. Make sure the soil is slightly acidic to neutral, pH 6 to 7. Planting location. Choose a sunny spot for planting, as garlic needs full sun to grow properly. Garlic is generally planted about 6 inches apart in rows, 12 to 18 inches apart. Plant the cloves. Plant the garlic cloves with the pointed end facing up and the flat end, where the root will develop, facing down. Bury the cloves about 2 inches deep in the soil. Mulching. Apply a thick layer of mulch, straw, leaves, or grass clippings after planting. This helps to retain moisture, suppress weeds, and insulate the garlic during the winter. Watering. Water the garlic thoroughly after planting to help it establish roots. Make sure the soil stays moist but not waterlogged throughout the growing season. Care during the growing season. Garlic typically requires little care aside from occasional watering and weeding. If growing hardneck garlic, you may need to cut off the flower stalk, scape, when it appears in early summer to encourage larger bulbs. Preparing the container. Next, fill your container with potting soil. Leave about an inch of space from the top to prevent water from spilling over when you water your garlic. If you're reusing an old container, make sure it's clean and has good drainage. To prepare a container for planting garlic, follow these steps. 1. Choose the right container. Select a container that is at least 6 to 8 inches deep to allow for the garlic bulbs to grow properly. It should also have drainage holes to prevent waterlogging. 2. Prepare the soil. Garlic prefers well-draining soil with a slightly acidic to neutral pH, 6.0 to 7.0. Use a high-quality, well-draining potting mix. You can amend the soil with compost to improve its fertility. If the soil is too heavy, consider mixing in some perlite or sand for better drainage. 3. Loosen the soil. Loosen the soil to a depth of at least 6 to 8 inches. This will help garlic cloves develop a healthy root system. 4. Add fertilizer optional. Garlic is a heavy feeder, so you may want to mix in some balanced organic fertilizer or compost to provide essential nutrients. 5. Plant the garlic cloves. Separate the garlic bulb into individual cloves. Leave the papery skin on. Plant the cloves with the pointed end facing upward and the flat end facing downward, about 2 inches deep and 4 to 6 inches apart. Space them out to ensure the cloves have enough room to grow. 6. Watering. Water the soil lightly after planting to settle it around the cloves. Ensure that the soil stays moist, but not soggy, as garlic does not like to sit in overly wet conditions. Garlic generally needs regular watering but should not be overwatered. 7. Provide the right growing conditions. Garlic needs plenty of sunlight to grow. Place the container in a sunny spot where it gets at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. After planting, you can cover the soil with a light layer of mulch, straw, leaves, etc. to keep the soil temperature stable and conserve moisture. Planting the garlic. Now, plant your cloves with the pointy end facing up. Push them about 2 inches deep into the soil and space them about 4 inches apart. Remember, garlic likes its personal space. Once planted, cover them with soil and give them a good watering. Keep the soil moist but not soggy. Planting garlic is a relatively simple process, but there are a few key steps to follow for a successful harvest. Here's a guide to planting garlic. 1. Choose the right type of garlic. There are 2 main types of garlic. Hardneck garlic, best for colder climates, has a strong flavor and produces scapes, flower stalks. Softneck garlic, more common in warmer climates, stores longer, and typically has more cloves per bulb. 2. Select a planting site. Garlic requires full sun and well-drained soil. Choose a spot where garlic hasn't been planted in the last couple of years to avoid soil-borne diseases. 3. Prepare the soil. Garlic prefers slightly acidic to neutral soil, pH 6.0 to 7.0. Loosen the soil to a depth of about 4 to 6 inches, 10 to 15 centimeters, and amend it with organic compost for nutrients. Ensure the soil has good drainage to prevent rot. 4. Separate the cloves. Break apart the garlic bulb into individual cloves just before planting. Keep the papery skin on each clove. Choose the largest cloves for planting, as they tend to produce the best bulbs. 5. Plant the cloves. Space the cloves 4 to 6 inches apart in rows, with the pointed end facing up and the flat root end facing down. If planting in raised beds, space rows 12 to 18 inches apart. Plant the cloves about 2 inches deep, or about 5 centimeters in the soil. 6. Watering. Water the garlic thoroughly after planting. Ensure that the soil remains moist but not waterlogged during the growing season. 7. Mulching. Apply a layer of mulch, straw, leaves, or grass clippings to protect the garlic from harsh winter conditions, retain moisture, and keep weeds at bay. A thick layer of mulch is especially important for hardneck varieties, which are more susceptible to frost. 8. Care during the growing season. Garlic needs regular watering, especially during dry periods, but should not be overwatered. Fertilize in early spring with a nitrogen-rich fertilizer to support leaf growth. Remove any weeds that compete for nutrients. 9. Harvesting. Garlic is usually ready to harvest in late spring or early summer when the lower leaves begin to yellow and die back. Dig up the garlic carefully using a fork or shovel, being cautious not to damage the bulbs. Let the garlic dry in a shaded, well-ventilated area for a few weeks before storing. Tips: if you are in a colder climate, plant garlic in the fall, allowing it to establish roots before winter. In warmer climates, you may plant garlic in late winter or early spring. With these steps, you'll be well on your way to growing a bountiful garlic crop. Let me know if you'd like tips on a specific part of the process. Care and maintenance. Place your container in a sunny spot. Garlic loves the sun, so aim for 6 to 8 hours of sunlight daily. Over the next few weeks, you'll start to see green shoots sprouting. It's a magical moment. Garlic is low maintenance, but make sure to keep an eye on it. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry and pull out any weeds that pop up. Garlic is relatively easy to care for and maintain, whether you're growing it in a garden or storing it after harvesting. Here's a breakdown of how to care for garlic in different contexts. 1. Growing garlic. Planting. Timing. Garlic is typically planted in the fall, a few weeks before the first frost. In warmer climates, it can also be planted in late winter or early spring. Soil. Garlic prefers well-drained, fertile soil. It's best to enrich the soil with compost or organic matter before planting. Spacing. Plant garlic cloves about 2 inches deep, with the pointed end facing upward. Space cloves about 4 inches apart in rows that are 12 inches apart. Watering. Water the garlic regularly, but avoid overwatering as garlic doesn't like sitting in wet soil. It needs moist soil during its growing period but should not be waterlogged. Sunlight. Garlic thrives in full sun, so ensure it gets at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. Maintenance. Mulching. In colder climates, mulch around the garlic to protect it from freezing in winter. This helps to retain moisture and prevent weeds. Weeding. Garlic doesn't compete well with weeds, so it's important to weed regularly, especially during the early growth stages. Fertilizing. Garlic benefits from regular feeding with organic fertilizer, particularly during the spring, when the leaves begin to grow. Pest control. Garlic is generally resistant to most pests, but can occasionally suffer from aphids or fungal diseases. Monitor for signs of pests and take appropriate action if needed. Harvesting. Garlic is typically ready to harvest when the leaves start to yellow and dry out, usually in mid to late summer, about 8 months after planting. Gently dig up the garlic bulbs using a shovel or fork, being careful not to damage them. 2. Storing garlic. Fresh garlic. Cool, dry, and dark location. Store fresh, uncooked garlic bulbs in a cool, dry, and dark place with good air circulation. Avoid storing it in plastic bags as this can lead to mold. A mesh bag or basket is ideal. Avoid refrigeration. Garlic does not need to be refrigerated unless it's been peeled or chopped. Garlic bulbs. Garlic can last for several months in a dry, cool place, but the storage life can vary depending on the type of garlic. Soft-neck garlic tends to store longer than hard-neck garlic. Peeled or chopped garlic. Refrigerate. If garlic is peeled or chopped, it should be stored in the refrigerator in a tightly sealed container. It's best used within a week or so to maintain its freshness. Garlic preservation methods. Freezing. If you have a surplus, garlic can be frozen, although it may lose some of its texture. You can freeze cloves whole, chopped, or mashed with olive oil. Just keep in mind that it will soften when thawed. Garlic oil. Garlic-infused oil should be stored in the refrigerator and used within a few weeks to avoid the risk of botulism. 3. Common problems and solutions. Yellowing leaves or stunted growth. This can be a sign of insufficient water or nutrients. Ensure the plant has enough water and consider adding a nitrogen-rich fertilizer. Garlic rust. This fungal disease causes yellow or red spots on the leaves. Remove affected leaves and avoid overhead watering to reduce moisture on the leaves. Root rot. Garlic can suffer from root rot if it is overwatered or the soil doesn't drain well. Ensure the soil drains properly and adjust your watering routine. By following these care and maintenance tips, you can enjoy growing and using garlic throughout the year. Harvesting. In about 8 to 10 months, when the green tops start to turn yellow and droop, it's time to harvest. Gently pull the bulbs from the soil, brush off the dirt, and let them cure in a dry, airy spot for 2 weeks. Harvesting garlic is a simple but rewarding task. Here's how you can do it. Timing. Garlic is typically ready for harvest in late spring to early summer, around late June to early July, depending on your climate. The best indicator is when the lower leaves of the plant start to turn yellow or brown, but the top leaves are still green. Tools. Use a shovel, fork, or your hands to carefully dig up the garlic bulbs. Be gentle to avoid damaging the bulbs. A fork is usually ideal because it allows you to loosen the soil without harming the garlic. Digging up. Start digging a few inches away from the garlic bulb to loosen the soil. Pull the bulb out carefully, making sure not to break the stems or damage the bulbs. Cleaning. Once harvested, remove the dirt by gently brushing it off. Avoid washing the garlic with water, as this can encourage mold growth. You can cut off the roots and the stem, leaving about an inch of the stalk for storage. Curing. Hang the garlic bulbs in a dry, well-ventilated area with good air circulation for about 2 to 4 weeks. This allows the garlic to cure and become more flavorful. Once fully cured, cut off the stems and store the garlic in a cool, dark, and dry place. Garlic can be harvested early as green garlic, if you want to use the entire plant, or let it mature for storage use later. And there you have it, your very own homegrown garlic, all for less than $5. It's fresh, flavorful, and so rewarding to grow your own food. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your gardening friends. Happy planting, and I'll see you next time.